Hi, it's Deborah Atkinson, and this is the Flipping 50 Show, the place to reset, tune up, and prepare for your second and better half with the vitality and the energy that you want. In every episode, I answer questions from women just like you about what they're struggling with most. I share solutions for what to eat, how to move, and your biggest time challenges so that you can focus on the one or two things that will get you the most results in the least amount of time. So share your question with me at flipping50tv.com. And if I choose your question for the show, I'll send you some exclusive gifts I'll tell you more about later. And even if I don't choose your question for the show, I'll share my Muscles in Minutes guide for toning those hard to tone areas right away just for your effort. What are you waiting for? Let's start Flipping 50 together. Today's question comes from Janet. I have arthritis, and some days the pain of it makes movement difficult. It seems to settle mostly in my hips and hands, a little in my back. What can I do that won't aggravate my joints? Janet, we're gonna dive in to the ideal exercise for arthritis right after we talk about nutrition. Nutrition for arthritis, Janice, is all about learning which foods turn inflammation on and which foods turn inflammation off so that you can get the best balance. In general, goes like this. Foods that turn inflammation on include sugar, gluten, dairy, wheat, and potentially eggs. For most people, we can be sensitive to foods, but if you have an autoimmune disease, chances are you're going to feel much better if you remove the majority of those foods from your diet most of the time. I know it sounds like a lot, but there are thousands of other foods that can fill your plate. So those foods that turn inflammation off include omega-3 fats, a lot of berries and citrus fruits that are rich in nutrients but have low sugar content, and then all of your green leafy vegetables or those non-starchy vegetables. And there are tons of other things, and I want you to go to foreverfitandfab.com, the Flipping 50 TV tab, find today's episode, and you can just download a list and fill out how you're doing on a daily basis with the inflammation on foods compared to the inflammation off foods. Because if you get that balance right, Janet, you can feel better even without exercise. But let's talk about how to move. Janet, the key to successful exercise for arthritis is to first gain mobility, what we used to call range of motion, then add strength. And that is going to give you movement comfort so that you can move more, and that'll help you reduce the weight that takes stress off of those joints so you can feel much better. We're going to focus on mobility with a little component of strength added in until you gain that foundation. And the best place for you to start, Janet, is in the pool. And here's why. In the pool, number one, you have 12 to 14% more resistance no matter what movement you do when you're in the water versus on land. You also remove the effect of gravity so your joints don't have to take as much stress, and you can move much more comfortably and freely. You're gonna feel better about it, and you're probably gonna feel better when you come out of that water because you've been able to juice the joints by moving through full range of motion like you can't on land because of pain or movement difficulty that's compromised because of your past and sedentary behavior. So Janet, your homework is to find a pool, whether it's the Y, a rec center, or a local community pool in your association. Find out when you can use it and get a suit because you and I are gonna make a splash. Janet, you're gonna start in the water with water walking. You got this. You're gonna simply walk forward in a depth of water that's about 3.5 to 4.5 feet deep. That's somewhere between navel and nipple depth. And that means your lungs aren't so submerged that you start to float away. So you've got some leverage, but you're submerged enough that the pressure's off your joints. The other thing you wanna ask when you're calling around looking for pools is what's the water temperature? So a temperature between about 84 and 88 degrees will feel really comfortable and wonderful for your joints so you can get right in and not overheat while you exercise. So be sure to ask about that. So here's how walking goes. You're simply gonna walk using your arms underwater so that they're helping to propel you, and then walk backward, pushing the opposite direction, and then turn. Do side stepping, step together step, over and back. Those 4 simple motions can make up the majority of your exercise session in the water. It's as simple and uncomplicated as that. Think about doing everything for a minute, moving to the next one, and rotate back through several times. Start with 10 or 15 minutes, build your way up so you're doing 25 or 30. And that's it for water walking. Okay, Janet, just in case the pool you're in, say, doesn't have a long enough lane or space where you can really walk forward and back or side to side, you can do it all in the small space of your own body just by marching right here. So you're gonna pump your arms and pump your knees, exaggerating the march, and you may feel in the water, even though you'd never think about it on land, that you can jog. So the other alternative is kick to the back, or forward or side, so you can vary the work on your hips. Take a wide stance and do some boxing exercises. Your lower back and your core both are gonna love that. Rotation here. Just don't do too much too soon. In the water, it can feel great. Back on land, you'll know whether it was too much or too little. You can always go forward and do more next time. Janet, let's say you can only find a pool with deep water, or that's what's available when you go. Usually you can find at any pool belts that go around your waist and fasten but buoy you up so that you can be in deep water and actually do running or jogging movements, not even touching the bottom, and held up, not even getting your hair wet. So, great advantage of that is you can go through full range of motion and feel really good. Another way to get through full range of motion and do what I call juicing the joints, lubricating your joints with synovial fluid that probably doesn't get in there if you're really sedentary. Too much? You're gonna do leg swings, forward and back, side to side, get both legs, and that means when you get out of the pool and you're back on dry land, those joints are still gonna feel better for having done it in the water. Okay, Janet, it's time to play. Out come the toys. This is a noodle, and you can find it. It's really a child's toy in almost any department or discount store, but it's great for water exercise. And here's what you're gonna do with it. So you're gonna bring it under 1 foot. So it creates a horseshoe, and then what you're gonna do is push that down as you try to maintain your balance in the pool. But you can have a hand on the side of the wall or on the rope if you need it. That's gonna work the back of your legs, your hamstrings, and your glutes. So we strengthen the muscles around the hip joint to take the pressure off of the joint itself. The second exercise you can do with the noodle is the plank. So you're gonna hold this in a little lower depth water, if possible, so that you can bend forward from your hip, holding and challenging your core both in the front and the back. Hold it for 30 seconds and then release, and do a few repeats of that. Third exercise you can do with the noodle is sit in it like a swing. So it goes right under your bum, and you're really gonna sit and trust that the noodle's gonna hold you up. I promise it is. And then you're gonna use your hands to scull while your feet are dangling. Scull yourself forward, scull yourself backward, and it's an excellent core challenge, not to mention challenging your balance. Then last, you're gonna take either one, or I like to put 2 together right behind me. Lean back, put your feet up, except you're not gonna relax. I want you to pedal those legs as hard as you can, as if you were on a bicycle. That can be an interval to get your heart rate up. The key to your joints feeling liquid smooth is stretching at the end of every water session, and it's that and consistency. Janet, the key flip of the day with arthritis and exercise is the more comfortable the movement, the more you're gonna wanna move. And the more you move, the more comfortable the movement will get. Janet, thanks so much for your question, and let me know how it goes. And now I'd like to hear from you. Do you have a limiter with your exercise, or is your challenge something else? Share your question with me at flipping50tv.com. And if I choose your question for the show, I'll share with you exclusive access to the After 50 Fitness Formula for Women online course and a copy of You Still Got It Girl, the book. Plus, my friends at Anne Marie Skincare will send you a trio of their full-size products, so you'll be beautiful from the inside out. Even if I don't choose your question for the show, you get a copy of my Muscles in Minutes guide to toning those hard-to-tone areas. What are you waiting for? Let's start flipping 50 together.